Touring is really important, and it's sort of, in many ways, the focal point or sort of the zenith of the Glee Club season, where everything sort of builds up to the tour. And once we've gone on the tour, the group just isn't the same. It's really transformed through that experience.
And of course, I mean, there's all sorts of bonding stuff, right? Like you're trapped in a bus for a week with like 50 guys, like you're gonna bond with them. But also, I think just on a deeper level, it gives the Gleeks a chance to experience these locations that they wouldn't get to experience otherwise, which might inform their decisions later in life.
It's something I wouldn't trade for anything else. It's really just a time for your life to be about the guys you're singing next to, the places you're visiting, and the music that you're performing. And so it is exhausting. I felt like after each tour I've been on, I needed another vacation, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
We're making it. We're in it. Oh, man. I didn't know.
Our core focus will be Glee that was called.
I gotta roll, you gotta roll, all God's children gotta roll. Children gotta roll. When I get to heaven, gonna put on the roll, gonna shout all over God's heaven, heaven, heaven. Everybody talking about heaven, ain't going there. Heaven, heaven, gonna shout all over God's heaven. I got shoes, you got shoes, all God's children got shoes. When I get to heaven, gonna put on my shoes, gonna walk all over God's heaven. Yes, heaven, yes, heaven, yes, everybody talking about heaven, ain't going there. Heaven, yes, heaven, gonna shout all over God's heaven.
Can we play tackle frisbee rugby? Oh, good. Frisbee rugby. Rugby. Yeah, how do you catch it? Like a pancake.
Charleston was the whole package, man. Beautiful water everywhere. The temperature was amazing. Trees to climb.
Charleston was awesome. Yeah, it was definitely hyped when we were getting ready for the tour. The experience was pretty overwhelming. The city is gorgeous.
I saw a guy catch a horseshoe crab. I climbed some trees. I ate some delicious barbecue. I got a $2 can of Guinness, non-alcoholic.
We gonna do People eat them?
I've never had some.
I tell you what.
Seems like a normal crab.
It looks like it would taste like a normal crab.
I don't think
Horseshoe crab.
Alright, look, I don't know. I don't know in the tail and the shoulder.
All right, Jared. So we're at the end of our trip to Charleston.
Yeah!
So can you tell us a little bit about your time in Charleston?
Yeah, well, I feel like we got to taste the old South. I lived in a mansion that was built in 1720. So we're walking through the sitting room, and there are all these like Civil War memorabilia items. And Teddy's like, "Oh, so you guys collect Civil War antiques?" And our host is like, "No, honey, these have been passed down in the family for generations." And so she had an actual Civil War saber that one of her ancestors had used hanging on the mantelpiece. Yeah, it was incredible.
Favorite experiences in Charleston, you know? One of my hosts was from the Netherlands and he had a pretty awesome accent. Told us some great stories that I didn't completely understand, but they were great.
Why are you losing your voice, Drew?
Because of all the singing we've been doing. And these awesome games of Ultimate. In that last like 5 or 6 measures, or 5 or 6 pages, when we get out of like the dissonance and into that beautiful hymn, the chorale, you know, let the rains fall softly on the fields, just shivers. Like it was ridiculous. Like I don't know what happened, but it was like one of the more incredible musical moments I've ever had in my life. So.
And so this year it took on particular resonance because all around Harvard there were many different events that were commemorating the 150th anniversary of the end of the American Civil War. And it was really by coincidence that we found ourselves traveling to a part of the country where the history and legacy of the Civil War is still very much a part of the sort of historical and cultural fabric of those communities, particularly in Savannah and in Charleston, which has been called the heart of the Confederacy and where really the war began in 1861.
When we were at the plantation, it was described by the people that worked there as just this very nice, like Georgian home. While at the same time, there was a lot of kind of undertones of what actually happened there, and that wasn't expressed as much. And that we then got to debrief with some of the upperclassmen in the Glee Club, as well as our director, really provided this powerful historical framework for something that otherwise would have just been glossed over. So that was probably my favorite stuff.
The main part of the house by these colonnaded walls. Palladio published 4 books of architecture in the 1500s, and when the flankers were positioned in this way with the curved connecting walls, he said it was like welcoming arms to the property. So we think the original purpose of these buildings was to serve as guest houses. If you look at
Hey, what did you guys learn?
Slavery, is it real? Because we went through that tour and I don't think we really talked about slavery at all.
It was weird because they're spending millions and millions of dollars to preserve this place that was like an institution of slavery. Like, I don't know.
I think it got me thinking about issues that have been in the news currently, issues of racial reconciliation, tensions, and the legacies of discrimination and injustice that we continue to deal with. I think that was something that I hadn't really considered would impact me on this tour, which was maybe a little naive, but I think coming back, it was actually one of the things that I thought about most on tour. And I think I was really glad to be able to perform The Field, other pieces that sort of were able to address those issues and have some good conversations with other Glee Club members.
Anything else? About a first show?
Yeah. Don't look at your music unless you need to. If you have a piece memorized, you can just open your binder. There's no reason to look down, because that's just really boring.
Daniel Hart.
Smile and be decisive when you close your binder. Don't like.
So this is actually something really important. When we sing, a piece finishes, bring your folder down here, and when people are expressing their gratitude for what you just did, the worst thing you could do is what? Right? Just take some time. You know, you don't have to like be too cheesy about it, but just look the people in the eyes, just to be able to connect. I mean, that's what we're really trying to do, right? It's a big part of why we go on tour, a big part why we come to places like this, is to, this is a big part of why we make music, connect with other human beings. The goal tonight is not perfectionism. I mean, obviously, try and be as accurate as possible, right? But just like the Princeton football concert, sometimes there's this sort of, you know, as I like to say, the lights are going to come on. Are you going to be a deer in a headlight, or are you going to step into the light and just make it happen? Yeah. Okay? And by the way, we will have some lights. So we're going to turn those on. Yeah.
it was very powerful to sing these drenched in emotion pieces to people that cared about them, and then they clapped for you afterwards. You kind of bore your soul in front of an audience, and they took that and appreciated it and showed it.
When we had a truly Southern audience, hearing this piece for the first time, and they just were overtaken by it, and stood up and applauded for a few minutes after we were done with it. It was something I won't forget. especially that first concert in Savannah when we did the world premiere of it, the audience was really impacted by it. It really reminds me why I do music and why I do choral music, because it really helps people connect with each other who wouldn't have connected otherwise.
Thing. I'm like, oh shit, right? And so I'm standing outside of like the dressing room, and Pat has the bouquet. No, sorry, I'm holding the bouquet, and Pat has the fish. He's just ramming this fish down a stick that's through the bouquet, and like it's the worst smell ever. And then we're trying to hide it from Andy, and Andy starts to walk down the path, and we're just like, we're not gonna make it. So we have to go to the back gate into this like weird memorial garden. I don't know. It was just so bizarre, but so funny because we're like Pat and I couldn't stop laughing because like it's the most absurd thing ever. So Andy, I hope you appreciated that.
Yeah, another moment I probably won't forget was lifting my hand to start a performance of Glorious Apollo, maybe our theme song, and instead hearing the guys sing an excerpt from Monty Python that I didn't know was coming. And then also to receive a beautiful bouquet of flowers from the guys with a dead fish in the middle of the flower bouquet. That was also a very classy and dignified touch.